where we have seen abnormal increments in this financial year. And those areas, if you permit, I'll be giving them explicitly. Areas we have seen increment of budget, let's say by 20% within one financial year. That can be an area where people can also get in some recoveries. And also, lastly, is the budget of operations and maintenance, which I've been able to pinpoint specific areas where we can go into if that is permitted. Thank you very much. I submit.
Yes. When you are the chair of the budget committee, the VAT on fuel was 16%. Now it is 8%. And you want to propose that it moves to 0%. These innovative ideas, why didn't you use them when you are the chairman and bring them up when you are the chairman at that time when it was 16%? Secondly, Chair, in these areas which you have mentioned that they have witnessed abnormal increments, were these increments in the various sectors, were they there when you are the chairman? Or you've just noticed them when you are not the chairman? Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Honorable Chairman, thank you. I want to thank the Honorable Ndindi for finding time to come and appear before this committee. All of us are here members of parliament, and we understand the constitutional role of the member of parliament is legislation, oversight, budget making, and representation. These are very important, generalized suggestions. Have you thought of contextualizing the same into a bill that will go through the legal, public, administrative, parliamentary stages? Because you can see some of the things that you're suggesting is not something that can be done through a roadside declaration. Two, and maybe these I expect either yes or no, you're also aware that the budget making process, first and foremost, is constitutional. Two, just like all over the world, and Kenya being part of the civilized world, it's also political. Three, it's also driven by party manifestos. But that party manifesto, again, does not limit, because you can also have an alternative. That's why in other civilized world, we have the alternative position on anything that the party in power also says. And fourth, and more fundamentally, is public driven. Some of us are privileged. I've known you as even when you worked with Honorable Irungo Kangata. I've known you as a member of parliament. I've interacted with you as the chair of this committee. In the Kenyan scenario, Chairman, and this is the most unfortunate part, we speak from both sides, depending on where we are at that particular time. And that's why we are not doing well as a country. What is missing is the consistency, honesty, people-driven, people tailor-made policy pronouncement. We change. It's like weather. Today, because I am here politically and this is convenient, I just want to circumvent all the other process and say, this is what I think. Because all of us here have taken an oath to stand and protect, and even say project the image of this Premier Republic. That's why I've taken an oath of office as a member of parliament for elders. So I want to ask my good friend here, these suggestions are very good. And you also remember, this is not the first time that when this crisis, this is my last part, this crisis was there immediately after the election. And you are privileged to have been the chairman of this very important committee. And this is not going to be again the last challenge. I'm sure the world is very dynamic. The whole international environment is, climate is convoluted. and therefore you are likely, we may be through with the Iranian, American, Middle East challenges, but that might be again en route to something else. What are the differences at that time in terms of you as the chair then, and right now being the chair emeritus, and the circumstances immediately after the countdown of 2022, and the circumstances right now during this war, vis-a-vis these proposals? Thank you, Chairman.
Members,
I would like something.
Chairman, I just want to allow members to ask, then you just respond. Would you not want to take all the questions and respond at the end?
Chairman, I'm just requesting for your indulgence.
Yes.
Because I'm a human being, and I want to give the best answers for the questions.
Yes.
Let's not take more than 4 in terms of routes. That's my observation.
Okay, so we have taken 2, eh? So let me have...
Let's be constrained.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, this fuel crisis is not just affecting Kenya, it's affecting the whole world due to the war in Middle East between the US and Iran. Would you be able to tell us which other country you have benchmarked your proposals from? Because this is happening worldwide, and me, I'm a doctor, I'm not an economist, but I would want to understand where else have you benchmarked these proposals that you are coming up with and it is working. Secondly, on the reduction of the 7 shilling fuel levy, you understand that this is on the road maintenance levy. You understand that we have 7 shillings for the securitization on the infrastructure fund. Could you be having other motives that you are targeting that infrastructure fund so that the government is not able to deliver on its infrastructure? And lastly, the president pronounced himself after meeting with the team that we'll have a reduction in the next cycle by the April of 10 shillings. But there was this other reduction which was agreed between the transporters of 10 shillings. You made a statement that it seems it's not very clear. But as a layman, when I go to the petrol station, I'm able now to put fuel into my car diesel at 232. Initially, it had gone to 242. So how do you understand that 10 shillings reduction? Is it not happening, or you seem not to have a very clear understanding of that reduction? Because I think there are 2 reductions. One will occur in the next cycle, and this other one occurred instantly when the team met and agreed to suspend this, to stop the strike. Thank you, Chair.
That you're the last, then Ndindi can respond.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, my brother, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, for your presentation. First of all, most of your proposals, I think, should come from Parliament as bills, from what I've gone through. Number 2, my brother, the Vice Chair, has spoken about it. The 7 shillings that you want reduced from RMLF. When you were the chairman here, we had an issue of stalled roads that we could not be able to get funding for. Out of wisdom from other sources or other people, we were able to securitize that money and were able to pay pending bills, and the roads that had stalled were able to be done, and new roads are currently being done because of the securitization that some wise people somewhere sat down and thought about it. When you say we reduce that money, you want to tell us, you want us to go back to where we were when you were the chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Lastly, you have spoken about
the confidential vote. This confidential vote has assisted this country.
Honorable Nyakundi, I don't think Ndindi has spoken about.
Okay, just let me leave it at that. On the RMLF, I don't think we should go that way as a committee or as parliament, because the securitization has helped us in supporting all the stalled roads and started new roads. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Ndindi, you can respond quickly, then we can take the second phase of questions.
Thank you very much, Chair, and I will start with the Honorable Chikati. Honorable Chikati, as you are all aware, being a member of this committee, economies are dynamic. I've been consistent on what needs to be done when it comes to such a time like this. Because you asked, the VAT was 16 then, it is now 8, and I'm proposing we take it to 0. It's actually not the first time Kenya is having a tax exempt in terms of fuel prices. Before it was 8 before, it was actually 0. But this is the reasoning, Honorable Chikati. The reasoning is that global oil prices, just the economic parameters, are dynamic. That time, we have had a summer in terms of fuel prices globally, averaging $60 per barrel. Now we are talking about, today it was $90 per barrel. But previously it has been $100 per barrel. And if you look at my proposal, the more the reasoning that this is for in the intervening period of 6 months. So, even when you want to bring the issue of having been chairman of budget, it is always, or it is important, you contextualize that through facts. The second thing, you asked, and now attaching the same question to Honorable Kenyan, what did you do then? Because this was purely, the questions is majorly about, you are chairman of budget, what did you do? I'm very proud of the interventions that we did. When I came in, the first business that we had in this committee was actually the appropriation of 45 billion Kenya shillings in fuel subsidies. So I walked the talk then, I am walking the talk now. It is this committee that did it. Honorable Chikati, you are part of this committee. It's not my responsibility to remind you of what we did. Honorable Kenyan talked about, again, about why not do it as a bill. When we have proposals like this, Honorable Kenyan, and you know I respect you a lot, and thank you for even the demeanor at which you answered the question. We write proposals to Parliament. It's usually upon the wisdom of the bureaucracy of Parliament to choose the path. When I wrote the proposals, my intention was actually for a bill. But the bureaucracy of Parliament thought it would take long. The turnaround time of a private member's bill will be talking by December. So it will not be helpful at the moment. So that is why the clerk actually called me and requested that we do this process using this current scenario. And on the other one of why now, and he talked about consistency. I think I have exhibited consistency. When fuel prices were up in the year 2022, my clips are all around, when I was calling for the then government to reduce fuel prices, specifically for such reasons like this. And they went ahead and did it. So I've been consistent on that. In fact, you never find anywhere I have been a proponent of higher oil prices. Nowhere. And even if you found one, it can only be AI generated. So in terms of then consistency, we allocated for subsidy then when I was chairman. I'm calling for subsidies now when I am not. We appropriated that money because we thought it was important that we reduce fuel prices then, and it is still my intention even now that we reduce fuel prices. The Vice Chair, Honorable Pukose, the first thing was about fuel prices and which countries I have benchmarked in terms of the interventions. And I'll try to be very civil in my, don't take my word as the demeanor. It's only that I don't have more other words to replace with those. As a member of parliament in Kenya, my ambition should be for other countries to benchmark with Kenya. It should not be for me to benchmark with other countries. So I'm doing this because it is right for Kenya. I was elected as a member of parliament to sit in the National Assembly of Kenya. And one of the duties is not to benchmark with any other country. It is to make our country a model so that other countries can benchmark with us. And that is why I have brought forth the proposals which are objective. But if you ask the question subjectively, I also reserve the right to answer it subjectively. On numbers, the Kenya shilling 7 for RMLF.
Honorable Ndindi,
Yes.
I didn't want to disrupt you, but you know you are appearing before us with proposals for us to consider so that we come up with a legislation that is helpful to the economy. So I would propose that you don't display arrogance to the members' questions. Just propose these solutions, then we will. At the end of the day, this committee is supposed to, adopt resolutions which will be good for the economy. But if you begin to, talk down the members, then it means you are not expecting these members to adopt your resolutions. I think spend more time persuading members. We will be able to, adopt your resolutions for the sake of the economy. Please proceed.
Chairman, I'm well guided, and if you note the way I answered Honorable Kenyan, it is exactly the same way he asked the question. If you replay the question of the Honorable Member I'm replying to, I'm replying with the exact same demeanor. So, going to the issue of RMLF of 7 shillings, and the Honorable Pukose insinuated that the